Hello there, to those new here, welcome to my channel. I am Pianoturtle. Today we're going to go over step by step how to completely master a piece. I use 10 steps if I want to master a piece, any piece. In this episode I will introduce the first 5 steps, a little bit at a time, more digestible. It's pretty dense material, so I'm going to give you the basics of it today. Let's begin. I will tell you exactly what the 10 steps are and the reasons for them. I will share a few quick thoughts before we get to the steps about some of the philosophies and attitudes behind the steps. I believe that without these attitudes, the methods will still work, yes, but with reduced effectiveness and efficiency. There are many different methods out there, and I see value in them all. Even the ones that I have not seen, the methods that have not even been published or even created or reinvented, I'm going to look at it with a fresh eye, with an eye of humility, because it's going to have something to offer. It takes hard work, energy, effort, creativity to produce a book, a tutorial, a performance, a method, a publication. I'm currently going through that process, and boy, did I find a new respect to all the published and yet to be published works. But because there are so many methods out there, that can lead to confusion, divisiveness amongst educators. I see it in the ads that are placed in front of my videos, each claiming their methods are the best. Even in the music genres, there are division: jazz versus classical, pop versus country. And in pedagogy, reading versus hearing. I play by ear, you play by sight. Choreograph versus improvised. Level of the piece versus the level of the student. One-on-one teaching, group teaching. This is all versus. Flat fingers versus curved fingers. The list goes on. Well, here are 2 mental shifts. You can call them paradigm shifts, whatever you want. Right. First, take away the verses and add in the word and. Reading and hearing. Classical and impressionistic. Baroque and jazz. Pop and film scores. Game scores and J-pop, K-pop, A-pop, B-pop, C-pop, 80s, 90s. Reading and hearing. By sight and by ear. Flat and curved fingers. Suzuki and Bastion. Tortoise and the hair. Again, the list goes on. It's not about how much you collect, it's when to use the information. Let's then add the word when. All methods work, otherwise the authors of those methods would not have published them, but use it at the wrong time, at the wrong part of the piece, it may not work. Now don't be quick to say, oh, it doesn't work for me. You quit too soon. When to use curved fingers, when to use flat fingers, right? When to use more wrist, when to use more fingers, independent of each other. Polyphony in one hand, for example. If you use your wrist too much, you can't control the voices that you bring out. When to listen, when to look more, when to analyze, when to collect mass amounts of information, and then when to stop analysis paralysis. The list, again, goes on. Collecting methods give you the how. Choosing when gives you the wisdom, and it will save you time. Any musician will lean towards what they like, and that is totally okay. Do what you like, no problem. But leave the door slightly open. To like something, you have to know it. You have heard it said, you gotta do what you love, but what if you don't love it? Have you ever loved anything you never existed? Would you love a brand new car before it's designed? A new TV show before the teaser, the trailer? A new friend that you've never met? Would you love your unstoppable technique? Would you love your artistic interpretation? Your firm and steady memory? Your lightning fast reflexes? When seeing the score for the first time, would you love all that? Would you even like all that? Your wild imagination, your controlled imagination? Would you love your ability to be spontaneous? Your ability to choose wisely? Do you love yourself? Can you truly love anything without study, practice, rehearsal, performance? But can we love it without liking it? Yes, you can. Love is a choice. And if you love it long enough, can you live without it? How to learn anything well takes effort. Nothing is easy. Loving what you do is a privilege. You don't always get to do what you love. So before you get to do what you love, aim to love what you do. It is a choice up front. I'm about to share steps. Aim to appreciate them, aim to love them, and then apply it first. Love it before you like it. Love what you do so that later you can do what you love. Now, moving on to the steps. Here are the first 5 steps of the 10 action steps of Piano Unlimited that I use and teach for any given piece at any level, the common denominator, if you will. They work for any piece. I also use a lot of these steps on subjects and activities that I do outside of piano. The first 5, I call it the big 5 of practice. But you can call it learning, or intake, or receiving, absorbing, data entry. The list goes on. It's all about learning the piece. Step 1, analysis. Take a look before you leap and do. This includes sight reading. In the beginning, sight read through it in time. Now, why do I put that first? It doesn't sound fair, right? In any other subject, it's not fair. Take your time. In piano, because it's the first step, you can afford to make your mistakes, because step 2, you cannot. So sight read, make your mistakes, but follow time. And the purpose of the sight reading is just to get information. We're analyzing these things: structural analysis, time analysis, form analysis, theoretical analysis, artistic analysis, and the list goes on. This step trains the skill of observation. Take a look. Step 2, the attempt. After taking a look, you know where the hard parts are. You know how many measures there are. You know what structures the notes make. And you know the form of the piece. Make a deliberate, intentional plan, and then carefully attempt to play all or parts of what you saw and analyzed. Deliberate, intentional, careful. If those things are difficult for you, let's try an artistic approach. Try seeing each note, each marking, each phrase as a gift from the composer to you. All you need to do is relax and receive it. Take your time, relax and receive it. Receive it rather than trying hard to get it. Let it flow towards you. You don't reach out for it too hard, too much effort. After it is received, through your eyes or through your ears, if you're doing a listening project, interpret the gift and use your hand to pay it forward to the piano. The piano will then gift you back exactly what you pay forward. Receive, pay forward, and then receive again. So relax. Receive, interpret, pay it forward, and then realize the gift. This is not the same as sight reading. I repeat, this is not the same as sight reading. This step trains the skill of walking on a tightrope between 2 skyscrapers without a safety net, as seen in the movie The Walk. Mistake prevention is better than mistake correction, but I am not hard on myself when I make my thousands of mistakes. Moving on to step 3, choice of strategies and methods. Only after the attempt can you truly make decisions of what methods and strategies to use. Before the attempt, you don't know where the hard parts are for your body. Hands separate or hands together. Dotted rhythm or not. Flat finger or not. Finger correction or not. Change choreography or not. You know, the list again goes on. If the methods are correct, problems can often be instantly solved mentally. Yup, just like a magic trick revealed, it is possible for the solving of these problems mentally, right, to be instant. If I don't carefully choose the methods, I can easily lose weeks. This step trains choice, and choice leads to wisdom. So this step trains wisdom. It's about choosing the right path for the different occasions. Choosing from what? What material? What method? Here it is. All existing methods in the entire planet. They all work, but when do they work? And why do they work? Step 4, comfort test. After choosing the best paths possible, the problems and challenges should be reduced or solved. Now it is time to seek physical comfort and mental comfort in the playing of these passages, in a tempo or a speed that allows the feeling of comfort. So no, we're not playing it at speed. We want to find the speed that will give you the comfort level for each passage, and each passage probably have a different speed. So rhythm is not quite in play yet until you get comfortable. Then you bring it all together and play it at a speed that is rhythmically correct. Mental problems can be solved instantly with the correct thinking, but physical memory cannot be rushed. Therefore, this step trains patience and attentiveness. And finally, step 5, the memory test. After it is comfortable physically, it is time to test your memory. Have the faith and confidence that steps 1 through 4 creates the memory. Don't worry about memory. I have heard it said from my students and their parents, oh, my memory is not as good as limited thinking. Memory is unstoppable. If I can forget certain parts of my life, I would, trust me. It is the natural consequence of having a wonderful mind. It is often harder to forget than it is to remember. You have a good memory. Take it easy on yourself if you think you don't. In this step, start playing without looking at the directions, meaning the score, but keep it open. Whenever you do have to look. Don't try to struggle, take it easy, and right there, find the phrases missing from your chain of memory and do it 5 rounds minimum, and then test again. If it still doesn't work, do 5 more, 5 at a time. This trains the skills of sorting and uses the process of elimination. But here, you're eliminating the good stuff. Get it out the way so that you can focus on the not good yet. In life, I usually eliminate the bad stuff and get it out of my way and cut out all the distractions, right? In this step, sorting out the good and comfortable so you can work on what needs attention is one of the few ways to truly know where you do not remember. Another way is blunt force trauma. Do it 500 times and it should stay with you as well. After finding out where the gaps are in your mental chain of memory, connect and reinforce the chain. It often breaks between phrases and between measures. After the chain is reconnected, now you have a new ownership of the work, and without that ownership and freedom to express, you will be treating yourself unfairly if you want to be the best you can be in the current project. If you look for direction, you lose a fraction of a second or 5 seconds. You lose the flow of the musicality. You lose your attention when you look up and down. The list goes on. Again, the standards are there and they are not mine. It is totally okay to play with the score, as it is fine to drive a car using the GPS. But don't be a race car driver, and don't expect to win a race if you don't memorize the map. When, not if, when you have it by memory, enjoy it with the newfound independence for a while. Smile when you play it. Take it for a ride. Please use these steps on a piece or a part of a piece. Try them and let me know your results in the comments. Let me know how the steps work for you before I show you how it works for me and my students in an actual piece. Finally, of course, there are limits to all methods. Step 1 requires attention. It does not work for the unattentive. Step 2 requires carefulness. It does not work for the careless. Step 3 requires wisdom. It does not work with the reckless. Step 4 requires patience. It does not work with those that click off the video before the sentence. Step 5 requires time management. It does not work for those who think time is a construct and use it as an excuse. It is a construct, and it is created and constructed to help us. With that said, it is the unattentive, the careless, the reckless, the impatient, and the procrastinator that can benefit from these steps. I am all of the above. I intend to unlimit myself. In the beginning of learning piano, please do not do these steps out of order. You may lose time and add frustration. You may be unfair to yourself. Learn through change. Repeat to keep what you've already learned. Repetition is also a when question. If you practice and wonder why you're not progressing, even though you spend time and energy, use these steps. Be fair. Use them in order so that later you will become the methods and you will not need to follow them. You will be the steps and therefore free to reorganize. For example, to do my transcriptions, I had to do step 10 before I started step 1. But that's another story for another day. Please share this video to those you think need it and tap the like button so YouTube shares it. If you didn't like it, double down and hit dislike twice or in an even number. Subscribe for more, a lot more. comment with questions, or email me with questions for those who are shy. To be continued.